welcome to video 3 on solving linear equations. This is going to be the last video in this little run, which was aimed to be a nice little introduction. With the higher minions in particular, there's lots more we need to do, including questions involving algebraic fractions and things, so there will be more videos. If you haven't checked out video 1 and 2 yet, I would recommend going back and playing with those before you start playing with this one, because we've built up to it as we've gone. So in this video we're specifically looking at questions where we have an x term on both sides of an equation. So let's get cracking. Okay, so example 1, 3x minus 7 equals 2x plus 5. So the aim of the game here is to get the x terms on the same side together and then just the number terms on the other side. So if we've got two positive x terms, as we do here, then I always take the smaller amount of x away from the bigger amount of x, and I always like to get my x terms together first before the number terms. So my first move here would be to subtract this 2x. So then on the left, 3x minus 2x will leave us with 1x minus 7, and that's going to equal 5. So when we take away these x terms, they don't affect the pure number terms, they can only affect the x terms. So that's left us with x minus 7 equals 5. So then we want to add the 7, and then we're going to get x equals 12. Job's a good one. Hey guys, example 2 then. So again, we've got a positive x term on both sides of the equation. However, this time, we've got the smaller amount of x over here on the left. So if we were to take that away, we would be moving our x term over to the right. Now, from experience with teaching this, and even myself personally, I always prefer to keep my x terms on the left. Now, at the moment, if we were to take this 5x away, that's going to leave us with a negative 4x. I also always like to keep my terms positive wherever I can. So what we can actually do is just reorder the equation. So we could actually write 5x plus 25 is equal to x plus 10. So all that's done is swapped the two expressions from side to side. You're perfectly fine to do that. So once we're there, we can solve. So let's take away the x first of all. That's going to leave us with 4x plus 25 equals 10. Then let's take away the 25. That will leave us with 4x equals minus 15. And then finally, for our last step, let's divide by 4. So that will leave us with x equals minus 15 over 4. Now, as I've said in previous videos, if you get a fraction as your answer, then you're perfectly fine to leave it in fraction form, unless you're asked for it as a decimal. But here, we're just going to leave that as minus 15 over 4. Okay, 6x minus 1 equals 4x minus 11. So, let's get the x terms together. Let's take away the 4x. Then that's going to give us on the left 2x minus 1 equals minus 11. And then let's add this minus 1 over here. So add 1. That's going to give us 2x equals, now minus 11 plus 1 is going to come back up to minus 10. And then finally, for our last step, let's divide by that 2, and that will give us 1x is equal to minus 5. Cool. Okay, so now we're spicing it up a little bit. We're having an x on both sides, including brackets as well. So before we can set about solving this bad boy, we need to expand the brackets out first. So on the left, 2 times x will give us just that, 2x. 2 times 4 will give us 8. So on the left, that's that bracket expanded. Then over here on the right, 11 times x is going to give us 11x. And then 11 times minus 5 will give us minus 55. Okay, so we expanded the brackets. Now we can set about solving. So again here, we've got a bigger amount of x on the right hand side with a smaller one on the left. So we can reorder the equation if we like. I'm going to, but you absolutely don't have to do this. So I'm going to rewrite the equation as 11x minus 55 is equal to 2x plus 8. Okay, and now I'm going to set about solving. So the first thing I'm going to do is take away this 2x. So over on the left, 11x take away 2x will leave us with 9x minus 55 is equal to 8. Then if we add the 55, then we're going to get 9x equals 55, which is 63. And then if we divide by 9, we get x is going to be 7. Okay, so if you have an equation with an x on both sides and there's brackets involved, you absolutely need to expand the brackets first. Cracking. Okay, so we're spicing it up again. So this time we've got brackets and a fraction. So here we could either expand the brackets first, or we could multiply by the bottom of the fraction first. Now I'm going to expand the brackets first, I think. So that will give us 5x minus 10 being equal to x plus 7 over 2. Okay, so we've expanded the brackets on the left hand side. Now let's set about solving. So remember, as in video 2, if we have two terms on top of a fraction, or more than two terms on top of a fraction, then they're all stuck up there at the moment by that division on the bottom. So to free the x and the 7 over on the right, the very first thing we need to do is to multiply by 2. So if we multiply the left hand side by 2, 2 times 5x will give us 10x, and 2 times minus 10 will give us minus 20, and then that's going to be equal to x plus 7. Remember, the top of the fraction doesn't get multiplied by the multiplication. It was already being divided by 2, so when we multiply by 2, we're simply cancelling out the division. Okay, so now we can get the x terms together. Let's take away that x, and that's going to leave us on the left with 9x minus 20 is equal to 7. And then if we add the 20 to both sides, that will leave us with 9x equals 27. And then finally, if we divide by 9, we will get x is equal to 3. Job's a good one. Okay, so the last example in this video, and we're certainly getting away onto a trickier territory. So foundationers, don't worry too much about this one. For the higher, this is really starting to get into algebraic fraction territory, which you need to know how to deal with. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of the bottom of each fraction. So say that we want to get rid of this 3 on the left hand side first. Then we're going to multiply everything by 3. Now on the left, that's going to leave us with 2x minus 1. And on the right, we're going to get 3 lots of x plus 2, all over 2. And then for the second step, let's multiply by the 2 on the right. So then we're going to get 2 lots of 2x minus 1 is equal to 3 lots of x plus 2. So now we're in familiar territory. We need to expand the brackets. So on the left, we're going to get 4x minus 2. and on the right we're going to get 3x add 6. Okay, so now we want to get the x's on the same side. So personally, I would move the 3x, so let's take him away. That's going to give us on the left x minus 2 is equal to 6 on the right. And then finally, add that cheeky little 2 and we will get x is equal to 8. Jobs are good. Okay guys, I hope you found these 3 videos useful. As I said, there will be many more videos on linear equations, but these served hopefully as a nice little introduction. Cheers!